Hi guys, Lucia here from Laughing Without an Accent. Welcome back. Today I wanted to do something different. I just want to talk about a little bit about the whole Myka Stauffer or Myka Stauffer drama. I can't remember how to say her name, but I was subscribed to her channel and for the most part I loved her content. I will tell you a couple things in a bit about what I thought. If you're not familiar, I would advise that you Google it or stuff because it would be really hard for me to tell you everything that happened. So basically, she adopted a kid from China. She had three biological kids. She adopted a kid up when he was like 1.5. She had other kids a similar age, and he was special eds. Apparently, they requested that he was particularly special eds needs. They want help. Supposedly, she's an ex-nurse. Turns out that after a lot of they said they released a video saying that after a lot of prayer and struggling with his special needs, they decided to rehome him to another family. And that got a lot of backlash because, I mean, they're wealthy enough. She got pregnant, had another baby, so they're questioning, if she dedicated enough time to Huxley, the little one. That had special needs, and I mean they just say people are really mad, really upset about the fact that she gave away her child. They're saying she abandoned him, that she treated him like a puppet, like a pet or whatever. And I just want to give my thoughts a little bit, not if you care. I don't know, I think that it's really hard to judge the situation because they didn't give a lot of details of what was going on. They said they wanted to protect his privacy and dignity, which I totally agree. They're not going to tell you if he was doing certain things. I mean, because we all know his face now and we all know his name. So it's such a complicated situation. I don't agree that they should have rehomed him. One of the things that I kind of didn't like about, I mean, I think her content is awesome, but one of the things that I couldn't relate was that she has 5 kids. So she had 4 kids and then 5 kids. They have a huge house. She always looks amazing. And she's making these videos of like realistic nighttime routine with 5 kids. And I can tell you, like, I have 3 kids and there was nothing real about that routine unless you have a husband that keeps them on the other side of the house and then you can do your nighttime routine. As a mom, you get interrupted and you get disturbed, not disturbed, I'm sorry, like, yeah, disrupt like all the time. And she had these videos where like the kids were nowhere to be seen. She was doing full house cleaning routines with no kids inside. And I was like, where are your kids? I mean, when I'm cleaning, I have my 3 kids around me all the time, on my knees, on my ankles, crying, asking for food. And I know maybe she's not going to show all that, but it just doesn't feel relatable to have that much of a perfect life when you have 5 kids. I mean, she was always in shape. She was always looking amazing. Well, the shape thing, I get it. Like, you can work out. It's my fault that I'm not, but it's really hard to work out with kids. So you have to have someone watching them. And came out a couple of times that she did have a nanny helping them with the newborn so she could do her stuff, which makes sense now because I'm like, yeah, who could put your makeup on in 1 hour with no kids crying around you? But then they didn't have the money for some special therapies for Huxley. A lot of people are questioning that. So I just want to say from my perspective, I have an adoptive brother. We adopted my brother when he was 2 days old. It was a private adoption. He had to go back to his biological mom for some time because of some paperwork. It was awful. And he came back to us and he's 27 years old now. And when we adopted him, it was just me and my sister Laura. I was 9 years old. My sister was 7. And my parents had been trying to get pregnant for a long time, but they also wanted to adopt. And the adoptions weren't coming because they already had kids. And then they tried to get pregnant and they couldn't. So finally, when my brother came home, my mom was pregnant with my sister Jasmine. So Jasmine is Hasmin, when she's 26. It was the biggest blessing of our lives to have those 2 little kids when we were 9 and 7. I think the age difference was awesome. We could enjoy them. Nico, my brother, has had many struggles. He had special needs, but they didn't like manifest until he was 7 or 6. He's had some addiction problems. He's had a lot of problems. A lot of it has to do with his mental health as well. They kind of like goes hand in hand. He has ADHD and kind of other severe mental illness, that is not necessarily his fault. I would never, and my mom would never in a million years thought of returning him. The moment he came to our home, and I get it, maybe it was easier because he was 2 days old and he was a baby. The moment he came to our home, he was ours. He was bounded. I just never never questioned that he was my brother, not my brother, he's my brother. And my mom even went to the doctor one time and they asked her, like, how many pregnancies do you have? And she said, oh, I had 4. Oh, no, wait, I actually had 3. Like, that never was an underlying, he was one of us, always. And even though sometimes I want to punch him in the face because of some things that he does or says, I would never say, oh, I'm going to return you. Like, obviously, he's 27 now, but never, okay? Never. And what they did, I can't judge completely because I don't know everything. But I think that if you're having a YouTube channel and you're a famous influencer, you drop that so you can serve your kids. They should be first. You can't have on the outside perfect life and not be. And she says, I feel like 500% a failure as a mom. I just, in a way, yes, we all fail. When she got pregnant, I remember saying, like, oh my gosh, she has 4 kids already. Like, she's getting pregnant now, and 3 of them were like the same age, like 3 or 4 years old. And I was like, that's hard. Toddlers are really hard. Like, she's gonna add another newborn. I mean, of course, I'm like, people have 7 kids, 8 kids is their deal. But now seeing that they had to rehome, she was overwhelmed. I bet she was like super overwhelmed with everything. And I don't necessarily blame her. But what I'm thinking is, you can't keep getting sponsorships and working with brands and working out to have a perfect body after you had 4 kids. Do your makeup on in the morning for 1 hour. Hire a nanny to watch your newborn. When you have a kid with special needs that is having meltdowns, and you expose them on Instagram saying, oh, are you done? You can't tell a kid with autism if they're done. On another note, I have a kid with autism myself. William was diagnosed when he was less than 3 years old. It was absolutely hard to accept the diagnosis, but all the help that he got was a blessing. He's in general ed now. He just graduated kindergarten. He's going to be a first grader next year. He's extremely smart. But their struggle is that come with autism. He's high functioning. He was a bit nonverbal at the beginning, but therapies helped tremendously. But he doesn't really talk that much with other people. Like, he's really verbal with us at home, but when people ask him things, he doesn't always answer. Of course, I mean, I would never give my kid away. And the question that comes with Myka's and the Stauffer's decision is, what happens if your biological kid, one of her kids, has autism? Do you give him away? I mean, it's such a hard... I know some of you might say, no, it's not hard. You never give it away. Of course, you never give him away. She adopted him. They decided to adopt a special needs kid. It was kind of like a private adoption, I think, because they didn't do foster to adopt. He came from China when he was 1, which is really hard because I feel these international adoptions, the kids come older. They have to keep them there for a year or something. The process takes long, so they have already a trauma and a separation. He came not speaking English. He probably heard Chinese. He bonded with his family and siblings, and then he's going to another home, she says, because, they can't handle their special needs. My thoughts is that it's wrong. I am kind of feel sorry in a way for all the backlash that she's getting. When I watched the video, I commented, wow, that was a lot. You guys have jobs and other kids. And I wanted to say, like, hello. It was too much to handle, but you needed to give something up, and it wasn't your kid. It was your fame, your accounts, your YouTube channel. I know that gives them income, but Huxley's adoption process was also monetized on YouTube. That gave him income as well. So it's just like so messed up, really. It's just so messed up. And I feel bad that they're so exposed. They put their life out there and they make tons of money. And with that comes being judged and having to be accountable for your decisions. I don't think they will give one of their biological kids. And people are saying she kept the ones that fit her perfect lifestyle. The Chinese kid didn't fit and blah, 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 which is awful. If it's all done for their views and their perspective and how they're perceived, it's disgusting. It's just really bad. And all the brands, she lost most of the sponsorships. So I don't know what's going to happen. I feel really bad in a way for them. At the same time, I think they made the wrong decision. I think she should have quit, or him. I mean, they both have YouTube channels. I know people are being harsher on her, but she's the one who most like that portrays this perfect, he does car detailing and that's what he films, but she's like the one portraying, oh, look at me, look at my family, look at my perfect morning routine. There was a morning routine where she was journaling in her bed for like hours. I'm like, my kids I mean, seriously, someone would have to my mom would have to come pick them up and take them away, you know? So if she has that, of course it's easy to film and do whatever. I mean, you know, if you watch this channel, you know how I was filming with my kids, like jumping around in a time. So I think she should have given up some of her hobbies or her work and maybe get real jobs, you know? It was really hard during the pandemic too. He had to go to live with a new family. So I just wanted to give you my thoughts. On another note, I have William, who is in the spectrum. We have Wesley, who is a typical child, has the typical challenges of a 3-year-old. And then we had Walter, and Walter is albino. I don't know if you probably noticed, but he has albinism. He has no pigment in his hair, eyes, or skin, and he has vision problems. He was basically born blind. And we've had to overcome and do a lot of therapies and stuff, and he's seen a lot better, but he always wear glasses. His macula is too blonde, so the sun doesn't, I mean, the sun is not filtered, so he, in the sun, he can't see anything. He has to wear sunglasses. He also is nearsighted, which means that he can't see far. And he has nystagmus, which is eyes move back and forth rapidly. Would I give away my child? No. Is it overwhelming? It is completely overwhelming. I've had probably the hardest last 2 years, and not only because of my kids. I mean, we moved with my in-laws, which causes, you know, obviously drama and friction because you're living with someone else. My husband is a student, so he needs the time. He has pressure over like studying and graduating and, you know, getting us out of here, and then having kids and moving away from our place, and then finding new therapies for William and Walter, and having therapies for each one that I have to drive them to and pick them up, and the kids fall asleep in the car. Yeah, it's absolutely challenging. And I know Myka probably had challenge. She was homeschooling too, which I couldn't get how she was able to do that. But I guess not everything was perfect, you know? You never have to believe. You should never believe what an influencer on YouTube is showing is the perfect life. You should never compare ourselves, because I always feel like, oh my gosh, they have it so together. I'm such a failure. I'm really a failure. I'm fat. I'm never have makeup or hair done during the day unless I have to film, you know, or go somewhere. But the truth is, their life is not perfect. It's far from perfect. And sometimes they might want to keep that and give a child away. I would never give my kids away. Obviously, I'm sure you share with me, even if they have special needs. And if I decide to adopt a child, not foster to adopt, if I'm fostering, it's different. But I would love to adopt one day as well. I'm not saying if you're fostering, you can give away the child. I'm not saying that, but it's not final. They can take the child away too sometimes. And if you find it that you're fostering and it's really, really challenging, you might, you know, you might be able to think about that. But obviously the people I know I have a lot of friends who foster to adopt, and they always want to, you know, be the parents, be the forever home. And when you do that and you do the whole process, that is your child from the moment they give them to you, I think, and with the goods and bads. So I just wanted to give you my thoughts. I mean, it's a really sticky situation. I don't know what's gonna happen with her channel, if people are still up. There are a lot of people supporting her, so I don't think she's gonna lose that much money or followers. I just wanted to give my thoughts, because if I'm vocal, I wanted you to know that I do have an adoptive brother, that I have 2 kids with special needs, and that I know kind of what I'm talking about, you know, and it's not like I'm judging from the outside. So I mean, I wish that little boy the best, and I hope that their kids, the Stauffer kids, can heal. And I hope that them too, as a husband and wife, can also heal from this, because they might have made a bad decision that they have to live for the rest of their lives. And I hope they can forgive themselves, because condemnation and beating yourself up over and over, it's not gonna help them either. So I hope they can, you know, hope we all can be better parents every day. So learning from all this. And yeah, well, what do you guys think? Have you heard about it? Let me know. I just wanted to put it out there. I know it's a little bit of like drama and stuff like that, but if at all interests you, leave me a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and thank you so much for joining me on another video. I'll see you on my next one with more unboxings.